welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. I know you diking, who you eating on. Make me think about all them nights we got a threesome on. Make me think about how you suck it like your teeth are gone. If your friend's hating on you, fuck 'em, to each his own. Yeah. Welcome to the Guy and Harley podcast. I'm Guy Pigden.
So, and I'm Harley Neville.
You threw it a little
Yeah, I was just big up my boy at the end there. Well, who was that?
That was a poet by the name of Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. Right, great. Well, I'm glad to have him on the show.
Welcome to episode 42 of the Guy and Harley podcast. Now, there's been some podcast disasters recently. I finally managed to upload the podcast early, uploaded on a Thursday, and you forgot to say we'd made one.
To share it on the Facebook and all that. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, if the listeners out there had subscribed to the iTunes, they would know, wouldn't they? Because it was up on Thursday and they would have got a wee notification. The latest episode is out.
Yep.
Sadly, only 15 or so people...
17, I think.
17, was it? Only 17 people, I guess, have subscribed because that's how many views we got on the episode that I didn't share.
Yeah. Good episode, too.
It was a good episode. I've shared it twice now on the Facebook to try and make up for it.
Yeah.
But no, we were busy. We were busy. And also, to be fair, Guy didn't tell me that he had uploaded it.
I did forget.
And so, then
tell you that.
Yeah, so on the Thursday we recorded it, or you uploaded it. On the Friday, you left to go to Timaru for the Halloween screening of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Which we'll talk about in a second.
And then very early Saturday morning, at like 6 a.m, I flew down, and then I wasn't back until Tuesday. So...
And now you might notice that this episode is late.
2 days late.
We've had a podcast disaster because the first one was early. We forgot to mention it. This one's late, and I'm sure we will mention it.
Liam Hegarty is irate.
Yeah, he's raging.
He is raging. He
on his commute, on his train commute to his job, or I think he's just gotten back from tour. Or he might still be on tour.
Yeah,
he might be in the. He's literally he looked to. He was hopping on the long haul flight, and he was like, "Oh God, been on so many of these recently."
At least I've got the Guy and Harley podcast.
At least for an hour and a bit, I would struggle through it, and and then he looks down, the thing's not there, and he's like, "Oh fuck my life! I can't even get on this plane anymore."
Yeah,
he's just stuck in Germany.
Yep.
Because we didn't do the podcast on time.
Well, two things about that. Liam, thank you for listening so avidly. I'm glad that you give a shit. Thank you for sending us that message saying that where the fuck's the podcast. That's great.
Yep.
Secondly,
keeping us on our toes.
You can check out some other New Zealand podcasts, on those odd occasions that we're late. How Not to Be an Asshole, for example. Give that a hoon.
Yeah.
New Zealand Entertainment Podcast. Have a go at that.
Well, we should really talk about Will Fleming's new podcast.
Yep. Called My Kiwi Life,
which is just debuted. Will Fleming, he's a good podcast friend of ours, friend of the show. We're a podcast community here.
There is a burgeoning podcast community, and we're actually having our very first New Zealand podcasters meetup. I believe it's it's definitely this month. It's later this month.
Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I know, because you're not on Facebook. You don't know anything about what's happening in the world because you're not on Facebook.
And that's the way I like it.
140 characters on Twitter is not enough to keep you updated on what's happening in the world.
Fucking 140 hours on Facebook per week
should do it.
is the problem.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing.
So, Liam Hegarty is in a band called Laura Palmer, and I actually bought their t-shirt the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you guys should do that. They're on Bandcamp and SoundCloud and all that stuff. I think you can buy the t-shirts on Bandcamp. So if you they're on tour now or coming back, so give them a chance. Laura Palmer.
Have you got the t-shirt yet?
Oh yeah, it arrived with a lovely little note from Liam as well saying thanks for the support. I bartered them down a few dollars here and there because that's the kind of friend I am, you know.
Yep.
Instead of just buying it.
Desperately needs it for going on tour and, paying for food. Like, that was one less meal he had on tour.
On tour,
yeah. What you bartered him down.
It was one less shot of vodka he had on tour. That's what it was. I'm saving his liver, man.
Yeah, so we've had some podcast disasters. Now, this time the podcast wasn't done. We had originally scheduled to do it on a Friday or a Saturday or something. And we're like, oh, yeah, so we'll do it later on. You're like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm just heading off for a couple of hours. I'll be back. I got back. You were gone. You were nowhere to be seen.
Well, because you weren't a couple of hours.
I was 3 hours.
You were quite a lot of hours because you left
3.
like before 4 p.m. and I didn't go to the gig that I went to until 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, it was more like 3 hours. It wasn't 2.
Yeah, and that was the problem. There's an hour there.
And then we kind of just forgot about it. And then the next day we were kind of like, oh, we would do the podcast. Oh, we're working at opposite times. And then suddenly we're fucked.
Suddenly it's Monday. Suddenly it's Monday at 11:55 a.m. and we're drinking Fireball whiskey and recording.
Look, I've been up since 4 p.m. in the afternoon yesterday. It's now 11 a.m. the following day. I've been awake quite a while.
No, I've been up since 8:30 a.m.
But you did sleep all night.
Yeah, well, it's still quite early.
For you. you only got 9.5 hours sleep. You prefer to your regular 10.
Yeah.
You have
I'm struggling.
You have a thing where you're quite grumpy if you don't get 9 hours of sleep. Approximately 3 hours more than a normal adult needs.
Than a normal anatomically modern human needs.
Functioning adult needs. You get quite testy if you haven't got your cool 9 hours in. But yeah, so I'm staying up to do this podcast because I don't want to risk not doing it again. But we've got a lot to talk about on the podcast, so I guess we should just jump right into it with our Timaru screening of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. We flew down to Timaru. We hung out with the locals.
We were treated like royalty.
We had some laughs. We had some beers. Beers were flowing freely.
Yep.
Literally freely.
Yep. They paid for our beers.
Yeah. We paid for some too, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So
I paid for my ticket to get into the. And did you pay for your ticket?
We
paid for our own tickets to get in to see our own movie.
But that's beside the point. To do a Q&A at our movie, we have to buy tickets.
It was $16 each.
We have to buy our own tickets just so we're allowed to do a Q&A at our movies.
And our girlfriends as well. They had to pay for their tickets. And my mum, all of us, we all pay for our own tickets.
We pay for our tickets.
But that's the way Tug works. You've got to sell the tickets, or the screening doesn't go ahead. So when the tickets aren't, running out the door, you've got to buy your own ones to get it started, and that's what we did.
We had a cool time down there. It was good. It was a good audience, and we sort of got to chat with people afterwards. Fans for life.
Yeah. I think it really did. I feel like we really did make a connection with the viewers in a way that you just couldn't do if you weren't there, and I feel like they're going to remember it and remember us for a long time, and they're going to start, noticing me on a commercial or seeing, older, your next film or, whatever. And
we also sold just under $600 worth of merchandise.
You probably shouldn't say that because I'm not sure if what the deal is with the producer and stuff. Like,
I'm not sure she's listening. So
yeah, she's not.
So no need for concern.
You're right. Yeah.
$600 worth of merch.
Yeah.
Minus a couple hundred
for expenses
for the actual stuff we were selling,
buying the merch.
So there's a $400 profit.
Yeah.
Is it 400?
Something like that.
We
haven't done the maths.
We haven't really done the maths. But
the point is that we're the whole trip, as a result of selling that merch, means we're only moderately in debt.
Yeah, we're only a couple of $100 in debt
by the time we paid for our plane tickets, movie tickets,
accommodation in Christchurch before we got to Timaru.
We got free accommodation in Timaru, but we were away for more than one night.
Food, so much food.
Yeah, and then booze, obviously.
Yeah,
and then I hired a car and had to pay for petrol and all that stuff as well. So
we didn't give you any money for petrol.
No, didn't.
There was
not even an offer.
There was
not even like, hey, do you want a cup? Hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee, mate?
To be honest, it was on your way. But regardless of that,
Fucking cheap ass.
my girlfriend.
How times have changed. The roles have reversed, eh?
My girlfriend did suggest that we should maybe say something, and I poo-pooed that.
You're like, nah.
notion. I was like, look, we're spending a lot of money here. It is on his way. It is not actually costing him any more money.
Well, no, like you weigh like 80 kilos or something, and like I don't know what Shelley
And
weighs.
my
We'll
girlfriend
speculate.
weighs 120.
Yeah, you're in trouble. And she must weigh like 50 or 60 kilos, somewhere around there.
Asian woman.
Exactly.
I'm just being silly.
But so you guys combined are up around 150 kilos, something like that. 140, 150 kilos combined, right? Now that's actually quite a lot of petrol in a 2.5 hour drive.
Didn't realize we're gonna get fucking
Plus your baggage.
Science nerd was gonna return.
Hey, bro, E equals MC squared, bro. Every action has a positive and fucking equal reaction, you know?
Fucking didn't realize fucking
Equal and opposite reaction.
didn't realize Degrassi Tyson had fucking stopped by.
Yeah, the short white version of him.
So anyway, we went and did that, and that was pretty cool. And it also, but you know, look, we sold all this merchandise. We got a lot of people to the screening. You know, through help of you know, the people down there, Kath
Miller and Eddie, yeah.
Who sort of helped facilitate that screening. But the point is, this is what we were pitching the whole time: is like, hey, you know, this stuff, this merchandise, these posters.
Pitching to who?
To our distributors, to our producers. We're like, hey, you know, like, people probably like buy these posters and T-shirts. They're pretty cool. Negative response.
Yeah.
Complete disregard. The first time we tried to sell a bunch of them, we sold all the T-shirts that we had, and we sold heaps of posters.
Yeah.
And
well, also at the other screenings that we have merch at as well. You know, for example, the Auckland premiere, and so we had like signed DVDs for sale. We sold heaps. We sold pretty much all of them.
Sold out. And we said, like, look, guys, just, you know, this
is free money, man.
This pitching is like, put us on, like, let's actually have a bit of a store where we just sell this stuff.
Yeah.
Because people will probably actually buy it.
Yeah.
Also, put us on tour where we go around the country to these little things and do exactly what we did at Timaru. Like, this is the method for a small film like this, with a bunch of entertaining, engaging filmmakers who are going to take you on an amazing journey.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense, and it is what we should do for Older when Older comes out, is we should organise our own tug screenings, because we get 5% of every screening.
Yep.
Right? So we should organise, say, keep it simple, say like 5 screenings from the bottom of the South Island to the top of the North, you know, at sort of 5 centres around there, you know, and do a tour, do a Q&A tour where we just get a van or whatever and like road trip from place to place, you know, promoting the film and doing Q&As.
Yeah. And look, I think that, you know,
selling merch
when we're talking about this, because I
this is the rock star life that I've been longing for, you know, like, you know, you've got,
normally it'd be all expenses paid as opposed to all expenses paid by us.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, hopefully the merch and the 5% back might cover our costs. I mean, if we made $400 from one screening, not counting the 5% commission, you know, we made $400 just in merch sales from a relatively small screening. Not plus there's the 5% of ticket sales. That's not bad. That's actually not bad.
No, it's not bad. And I guess that's the thing, is also, like, you know, because I was thinking about this, and because I enjoyed, you know, talking to some of the people there, and it was nice to see people really digging the film and all that stuff. And it's like, that's the thing, is like, when you're at a certain point, right, that fan communication is like, you're accumulating fans one by one, literally one by one. You know, you meet someone, you talk to them, they see the film, you engage with them, they go, shit, that was a cool film, and I like these people, and I'll check out what they do next.
Yeah.
And you kind of have time to get back to everyone that messages you and talks to you. You have time to sort of respond, and you can sort of get in on conversations and all that stuff. And then there's sort of a tipping point where you sort of are too busy and there's too many of those people, and suddenly you
That's when you know you've made it.
and when you start completely ignoring everyone, that's when you know you've made it.
Yeah.
All the people that care about you, you completely disregard and have no time for. That's when you've made it.
So, Niam, we clearly haven't made it because we're still talking about messaging you back on the podcast.
But I do really feel like, you've got to build these things brick by brick. And that's why a sort of a road tour of the film is a cool thing. And like so important because, you do start accumulating these people one by one. And the more ones you get, the better off you are in the future.
Yeah.
And we're certainly not at that stage where we're not going to be responding to anyone. We're quite a way away from that stage.
We're begging for people to message us.
Yeah.
We're begging for your viewer and listener topics.
Yeah. And so, but I think it's I thought it was just an interesting thing to consider for the future.
Tell you what I really enjoyed about the Q&A after the Timaru screening. I finally got to use my athlete's dick joke.
Yeah, that you've been hanging out.
I've been hanging out to use that for
I think
years.
you've dropped it on the podcast.
I've used it on the podcast, I'm sure, because, it was about the cock socks that I had to wear for the nude scene and how we just took the sock off my foot because there was no cock sock budget. And so I just had to take the sock off my foot, put it over my dick with a rubber band, and that was the cock sock.
That is quite a thing to spring on your lead actor.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a surprise for me. I was kind of like, I did expect some sort of special something, a special sock of some description.
I had a special sock for older.
Right.
I had a special skin-coloured sock that had been purchased beforehand.
Yeah.
By myself. But,
And how did you hold it on? Just with a rubber band?
Rubber band,
yeah. Because I might have even used...
double rubber band.
See, if I recall correctly, actually, I didn't even use a rubber band. We didn't have a rubber band, so we had to use someone's hair tie. So somebody from the wardrobe department, I took the sock off my foot, put it over my dick, and
sweaty, disgusting toe jam foot.
Yeah, my athlete's foot. And I had put it over my dick, and then one of the wardrobe people gave me their hair tie from their head, from potentially with knits, and I put it over the sock.
And you bagged that around your scrotum.
Yeah, and I did. And that's how we held the cock sock on, which led to the bad case of athlete's dick.
And
I was nervous though about using that joke because I was like, "Well, is it going to go down? Are people going to cool with it, or are they going to be like, or is it just going to be? Or am I going to be like, led to a bad case of athlete's dick?" Stone cold silence, but no, it went down well. It was good.
Yeah. Well, you are very fond of that joke.
I love it. It's a clever joke. I'm going to use it at every Q&A now.
Yeah. I see that.
In fact, we're going to use it for older as well because we'll just change it. It's you.
Yeah, we'll just change it.
You'll be like,
I had to use my sock.
Yeah, you'll be like, I had to use my sock for it, and then I'll pipe in, it led to a bad case of athlete's dick. And we'll just see if that works.
So got quite a few topics to talk about.
Yeah. Whoa. Are we finished with Timaru?
Well, do you have more to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Angie and I went on a road trip around afterwards to go and see sort of Canterbury, because I haven't really explored the Canterbury region really. I've sort of passed through a bunch of times, but and so we went to Mount Cook. Which is New Zealand's highest peak, and it was a very beautiful place, very, very beautiful. And two things happened actually. One was we had some dinner and stuff, and then it's New Zealand's or the southern hemisphere's largest dark sky reserve, which means that there's no lights, and all the lights need to point downwards, and the idea being that there's no light pollution, you can see the stars really well up there, and you could. It was really beautiful, and we went outside for a while and lay under the stars for a bit, and it was quite a crazy coincidence. We'd just gotten out there, and Angie goes, "I'd love to see a shooting star," and then one went, whoosh. Just perfect timing. You could never time it again in a million years. And we sat there for quite a long time waiting to see more shooting stars, and we saw a total of 3, but in quite a long time. And the timing just was phenomenal. It was a magic moment, a magic moment. But also, I performed poetry. I haven't told you this. I performed poetry for the first time outside of Auckland.
Whoa.
Yeah, to a really small crowd, like 12 people.
Yeah.
And I was the first person up because nobody else... It was the very first open mic night they'd ever done at the Mount Cook resort.
And then some asshole comes up and goes, I'm going to do some poetry.
Yeah, and then I started berating people about their beliefs over dinner. I did 2 poems. I did the plastic poem and the religion poem. But then, because nobody was really doing much stuff, like one guy got up and played a song, and then everyone else was too scared. The woman that was hosting it and organising it all decided to play a game, and she told everybody in the audience to write down a word on a piece of paper, and then somebody be brave enough to get up and perform a poem based on these 5 words, because there was 5 groups of people, 5 tables. And so they wrote down the words, and the words were beauty, beer, fetus, contrast, carrot, and bratwurst. So those were the 5 words that the various tables came up with, and then they asked people to come up with poems. A couple of people tried, but they were a bit shit, and then I did my one.
You were madly scribbling this out.
I madly scribbled this out.
In a glee, in a poet... was it when you were inspired? Shit. Anyway, you're jizzing it to this poem, and this is what you came up with.
Like, are you talking about a muse, or what are you talking about? What are you trying to say?
Nah, euphoria, like a poetry euphoria.
Right. So this is what I came up with. So the words were beauty, beer, fetus, contrast, carrot, and bratwurst. Combine beauty and beer to get a fetus. Feel the contrast between the night before and the morning after, drunken laughter replaced by sober fear. Your inability to control your bratwurst has resulted in a brat. And worse, an 18-year curse. I'll only say it once because I'm not a parrot. Gents, use a prophylactic. And ladies, use a carrot. And that was that.
That's actually pretty good.
It got a good laugh. It got a good, it was got a good response.
That's really clever. Like, what impresses me about that is that you just thought of that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was really happy about. I was like, I was like, shit. Like, because the other poems as well were not really.
That's a legitimate, cleverly written thing that you wrote quickly, given constraints. And that's not really your specialty.
No, it's not. I'm not really an improv kind of guy. So, yeah, I mean, I was really happy with that. It actually gave me a big confidence boost because I realized that the other people there who were not poets in any way, but it made me realize that, hey, actually, what I'm doing here is a little bit difficult. It's not just anybody can do it, you know? Yeah. And I was like, oh, that gave me that kind of confidence boost I needed due to my 4-month hiatus where I was too scared.
After the slam poetry competition.
Yes, exactly. You know, so I really needed this confidence boost.
I really needed this, guys.
And then afterwards as well, there was a girl that came up and got chatting on.
Was she hot?
Well, not particularly. But she was enthusiastic.
Was she middle-aged?
No, she was young.
Right.
She was young. So, yeah. No, it was a good night. It was a good night.
But you did not want to get carried away with your bratwurst.
No, I didn't want to do that and then have a brat. Also, I don't think Angie would have been particularly happy about it. Yeah. Sorry, Angie, I'm just going to go ball this groupie. This poetry groupie.
Well, look, hey... You got to make the most of these opportunities. It's rare that you're going to get a poetry group.
Well, that's true.
Especially under the age of 50. So those two things considered, you know, this is a unique opportunity.
Yeah.
And may have to be capitalized on.
Well, and just while we were on the topic of poetry there was also, the other night I went to, the reason why we didn't record the podcast on Friday is because I went along to a gig from the poet Tourette's, who is an Auckland poet, far more established than I.
Well, everyone's far more established than you in the poetry scene.
Well, that's true. I have only performed like 8 times. And so yeah, anyway, I went along to this gig. It was the Auckland Action Against Auckland Action Against Poetry. Auckland Action Against Poverty.
Right.
Gig.
Because I'm pretty keen on the other gig.
Yeah, the Auckland Action Against Poetry
That's where
gig.
I'll be outside picketing.
So I went along for the first time to this Auckland Action Against Poverty fundraiser. I bought the T-shirt and I hung out there. And so this guy Tourette's, Dominic Hoey, he's from he does a podcast called How Not to Be an Asshole with this rapper called Louis Nux, and I really admire what they're doing. They're doing all sorts of interesting stuff. They're kind of like, they're getting some really great guests. They've been doing their podcast less time than us. Like they're up to about episode 35, and they had Keisha Castle Hughes, Oscar nominee, the other day, like the last episode they did.
Game of Thrones,
quite a big deal. Bit of a big deal, and they had her on the show, which is fucking exceptional. And then obviously Tourette's is doing the poetry stuff, but I actually like his poetry. Like most of the poets I've gone and seen in Auckland, I've not particularly enjoyed. And so yeah. Anyway, it was really a good night.
Well, see, there's the thing.
Well, I did want to. The thing that I did have was that I was a bit of a Bevan from the Guy and Harley show. I was a bit of a nerdy guy who just couldn't really think of anything to say when I was hanging out with these guys. So I was really just standing around going sweet, and just feeling every time there was a silence, I talked about myself, And
you're going,
yeah. Every time they said something, I just sort of I'd laugh along. Yeah, guys, that's true, eh? And then
I've got a podcast too.
I do poetry and podcasts and make movies. Because Tourette's is just his short film is in post production, so he's doing filmmaking as well.
Oh, fuck! He can suck my dick. Fuck this guy.
Well, to be fair, I think I don't know if he's
don't treat him with the big boys are fucking playing. All right, this is a big boys territory. Here. Like, we might come into your podcast thing. You might own us a little bit, but don't come near the filmmaking world and think that you're going to just do something fucking magical, buddy.
Well, to be fair, Dominic, if you're listening, we do actually really want to come on the show, so please ignore Guy, what he just said there, and we'd love to come on the show and talk about I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
I don't think you're a big shot, you made a fucking short film.
I'm sending him a hard copy signed by you and me. I'm sending him a hard copy of the DVD.
You're sending him a hard copy, all right? Your fucking penis is hard every time you get near him.
That's not true, Dominic.
You love him so much.
That's not true, Dom. My penis has only ever been flaccid around you, okay? If you're listening, it's only ever been flaccid.
Yeah, well, look, good luck to him. Good luck to the kid. The kid, I say kid, he's got 10 years to catch up with us. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, he's a few years older than us.
Yeah, but in
experience years.
Yeah, it takes a lot to
get filmmaking.
Get good at filmmaking. It takes a little while.
Well, I don't know if he directed it. He wrote it. He might not have directed it. I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That would have been a good question to ask him on the night, but I couldn't think of anything good.
Because you were so flustered.
I was so starstruck.
You were so flustered by your giant boner.
Yeah, I was trying to hide that.
It really threw you off. Yeah. Well, no, that's cool. That's cool. Poetry's cool.
It is cool.
But you know what? I think like what you've created here, right? This 5 words poetry bullshit. You've done a good job on this. YouTube idea. Get people to send in 5 words.
And I write a poem.
And you write a poem every week. There you go.
It's also a podcast idea. So if you guys want to give us 5 words,
well, no, let's not get carried away. Let's keep this one for YouTube.
If you guys want to give us 5 words, just send them in. Comment below, or send them along to the Guy and Harley podcast. That's facebook.com/Guy and Harley, and give us the 5 words. I'll whip something up for you.
Open Pandora's box.
You have.
So we went on a slightly smaller road trip. Really, it was just to one other place that wasn't Timaru, which was Christchurch. We stayed in Christchurch for a couple of nights. And,
also known as Christ Get Me Out of Here Church.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ. And look, I've never been a big fan of Christchurch. And look, if we're being real, no one's ever been a big fan of Christchurch. Not even people in Christchurch are big fans of being in Christchurch.
If you had to choose one city in New Zealand to be leveled by an earthquake, which one would you choose? Too much?
I'm not sure. I mean,
too much?
380 people did die, Harley.
Too much? Too far?
I'm something like that, anyway.
Cross the line?
Probably cross a little line, but, I'll allow it.
Oh, that was a legitimate question.
So anyway...
Maybe Hamilton?
No, it would be Gore, or like Invercargill.
Have you been to Gore or Invercargill?
Of course I've been to Gore.
Those places aren't that bad.
Invercargill.
Gore and Invercargill are actually quite nice.
I would level Invercargill. But anyway, so I went to Christchurch. I do not have fond memories or feelings about Christchurch. I've never been a big fan of it. The murdering and such with prostitutes and throwing them in the Avon.
You are quite a wanted face around that area.
Yeah, because of that. And so obviously I have to stay out of there because, there's DNA.
Everywhere.
DNA never lies.
There's DNA everywhere.
But we went to Christchurch, and it was pretty fascinating to see the city sort of in the process of rebuilding. It's seemingly kind of still not that very far on in the rebuilding process. And what was most fascinating was just seeing all the sort of wiped out buildings, the derelict buildings. There's a lot of construction going on there, which is not great because all through the day you're just hearing all these builders building, and sort of every half block something's closed off because there's something being put up. But on the same token, there is all these other areas which are of these basically condemned buildings which were destroyed or partially destroyed in the earthquake, which have now been graffitied and all that stuff. And that stuff was fascinating. There was a lot of beauty within the rubble. And
that's quite poetic.
And I thought that it was really interesting, and we had some nice cocktails at the Last Word, some delicious cocktails there, and sort of wandered all over the streets. We also had I can't remember the exact name of it, but we had an amazing burger, and I think it was called Burger, Beer and Chips or something like that. Mm-hmm. But it was basically these delicious gourmet burgers and these amazing chips, kind of not quite in Christchurch town. You had to walk a little way out to get there, but can't remember the exact name of it. Look it up. It was amazing. And then we also got to enjoy Calendar Girls, the strip club there. Went down there because, there's actually not that... I mean, I think that the big thing is there's not much going on in Christchurch. The streets are kind of empty. There's not that many places where you can just hang out and do things. There's not that many things to do by the look of it. I feel like we did them all in a day. But you can go to a strip club. And, I've been to a few strip clubs in my time. Sure, I'll admit it. But this one...
Hey, guy! How's it going? There's the doorman.
Nice to see you again, Mr. Bigden. The usual Mr. Bigden. Yeah. But, we went there and I didn't really know what to expect because, strip clubs can be very seedy. And also they can often have a very low caliber of women. I'm looking at you, Dunedin.
Yeah.
But, it was a pleasant surprise. There were many, many beautiful women. There was, there was one girl who was doing...
objectification.
Silks. She didn't do any stripping. She literally just did...
She was just a talented silks artist.
And she didn't ask for tips. She didn't do nothing. She literally, exactly, was just plying her wares as a silk artist. Didn't take off any clothes, just doing amazing acrobatic shit. And I was like, fuck yeah, that's pretty cool. And just overall...
If that was the highlight,
I was really impressed by Calendar Girls in Christchurch.
Well, good.
The strip club in Christchurch is quite exceptional, Harley.
Well, you can see why, though, can't you? Because this city... so many people left, and then a whole bunch of contractors and builders came in from all around the world. It's a sausage fest.
It is the most sausagest of sausage fests there.
So if you are...
The girl to guy ratio is 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I would be really scared if I was a female in Christchurch.
Well, I'd be scared if I was a male and I hooked up with a girl because she's had several kilometres of dick. And so what I'm saying is that if you're a hooker or a stripper, you need to get your ass down to Christchurch.
There's money to be made.
This is a gold mine.
This is the gold rush of those two professions in Christchurch.
Exactly. And if you're a contractor, well, I guess there's some work down there for you. And if you're in any other industry, just stay away.
Never, ever go there if you can possibly help it, because it is terrible. So that's my review of Christchurch.
Yeah, good. Well, look, I actually felt like the place had improved since
From the earthquake.
Yeah,
the earthquake had improved it.
Essentially. Now, that is saying what I thought about... That sort of reflects what I thought about Christchurch beforehand, but the fact that a massive earthquake could improve it, but it has. And it feels like a little bit more vibrant now to me, and a little bit more... like basically, I feel
I
like
agree.
In the long term... This might actually be a boon for Christchurch. It might actually be a really positive thing because, they've shaken off the lice. Heaps of people left after the earthquake. The people that are staying behind are really the people that really want to be there. There's all this money going into infrastructure and building, and there's all these new buildings going up, but they're all earthquake safe, and they're all brand new and insulated and warm. It's kind of like... a forest fire burns through the brush and takes away all the crap around the bottom, allowing new growth to come through. It's kind of like that, I reckon.
Oh, that's poetic, Harley.
Oh, thanks.
Look, and I agree. And look, I'll be the first to say, like, despite Christchurch being a sausage fest where you can't get anything to eat past 9 p.m. In the city, the people were very nice.
Yeah.
People seem very nice there because it's like, look, man, this terrible thing has happened. It's really fucked up our shit. We've really got nothing to do. So we just can't afford to be assholes like you guys up in Auckland. And, that was cool because I certainly remember that it wasn't like that before the earthquake.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone I spoke to while I was down there was really friendly. Now, I didn't talk to that many people in Christchurch, but while I was there, I did talk to several people.
Well, the strippers that I talked to were very
lovely.
friendly.
They were lovely. Funny that. Strippers are always so nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Until your wallet's empty.
Well, exactly. I ran out of those $5 notes.
Those $5 stripper bills.
Highlighted stripper bills.
So no, everyone I talked to was very, very lovely, actually. But I remember before the earthquake, I went there, and I was accosted several times by like skinheads and these other type of undesirables. Like, I remember one time I was just getting out of my car, and I just come off the road, and I was like, fucking Christchurch. Every time I go here, someone gives me shit. And I pulled up on some busy street somewhere. I found a park, and I had my dog in the car, Slade, and I was just leaving him there for a little bit, and I was like, what I always said to Slade when I left him at the car was like, stay here, like, good boy, guard the car. I say, good boy, guard the car, and that was it. And so I go, good boy, guard the car. And then this random guy goes, good boy, guard the car. And like mocked me while I was having a quiet conversation with my dog. And I was like, fuck Christchurch, man. I've just come off the road. I don't need this shit. I've driven 5 hours from Dunedin. I don't need this shit. And so, I mean, I feel like maybe actually people, maybe they're a little bit nicer now.
Right. Look, let's, come on. We do actually have some good friends from Christchurch. So we can't say it's all bad.
Well, Julie Clark and Nat.
Yeah, reppin'. So, they're not all bad. There's a couple of good ones.
The good ones might have gotten out of Christchurch.
Well, they tried to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Some got sucked back in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as Dunediners, we have a slight rivalry with Christchurch in the sense that, like, we're the two biggest cities in the South Island, and you're always going to bicker with your neighbour a little bit.
True. Now, well, especially if your neighbour runs over prostitutes and throws them in the lakes.
Yeah, runs them over, then reverses back over them, then throws them in the Avon, the highly polluted Avon. That's not a fit resting place for a prostitute.
Yeah, look, bury them with dignity.
Exactly.
Where no one can find them.
Exactly. Put them in the coal mine. But anyway, we're getting dark here.
Well, look, you never see any prostitutes being thrown in the Leith in Dunedin.
No, well, that's true.
But maybe that's just because it's too shallow.
Well, the Avon's not very deep.
That's true. So really,
It's a pretty shit place to hide a body.
What were you expecting? Are you going to throw someone in the Avon? What are you expecting? Because that just travels right through the middle of
the city.
Christchurch.
Yeah.
Basically, people are just going to see your handiwork just float on by.
Yeah.
And someone's going to call attention to it.
Yeah. Do you remember there was somebody that put painted acid in Christchurch in the public toilet. They went into the women's toilets and, like, with a paintbrush presumably, painted acid onto the toilet seat.
I remember that.
And some women, completely just unrelated, just innocent women just going to the toilet in Christchurch, sat down and got like really nasty burns on their ass and thighs from some motherfucker putting acid on the toilet seat.
In hindsight, that practical joke wasn't so great. I should have maybe thought of something different.
You're a wanted man, like I said, you know.
It seemed like it would be funny to have them all scold their butts. It wasn't.
The acid was a little stronger than you thought.
Yeah. But also they put acid on, right? But presumably it was, some acid that didn't corrode plastic?
Well, that's the thing though, right? Like, have you not seen Breaking Bad? They dissolve the body in plastic tubs.
That's true.
Instead of the metal bathtub.
Yeah, right.
Come on, bloody Jesse. I'm Walter White here and you're Jesse.
Yeah.
Like science, bitch. That's actually a Jesse line.
That's a Jesse.
But that's admiring my science. So yeah, obviously that acid doesn't burn the plastic.
Right.
Harking quickly back to the poetry thing, I just wanted to say as well, we might be shooting some poetry videos.
I never thought I'd see the day when I decided to dedicate a chunky length of my own time to shooting Harley's fucking poetry.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see it, but this is actually looking very much like what is going to happen.
Yeah, because there's two different poems that are kind of suitable for short videos. So, one or both might get made, and frankly, I'm excited. I'm amped. I'm pumped up because my poetry videos, they get a reasonable amount of views online, and my I put a lot of time and effort into the plastic poem, which is an animated video, and it hasn't had as many views as I'd like, but I feel like it's been critically well received.
Sounds like all our work, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, some of them get a lot of views, though.
Yeah.
Some of them do get a lot of views. This one, not so much.
Yeah.
Look it up online. It's called Message in a Bottle, and you can find it by searching Pigville on YouTube.
Also say that Christchurch probably looks like as close as you're going to see to what sort of London looked like after World War II. Obviously...
Yeah, I remember that.
A lot of London was levelled by bombs and, all these, condemned buildings, same as for Christchurch. So if you want to kind of put yourself in the mind of what those people were like sort of rebuilding after World War II, take a trip down to Christchurch.
Go check out Christchurch. That's all we're saying. The difference is, I think that the British government after World War II was rolling in green presumably because they had now conquered vast swaths of land.
Well, that's the weird thing, because I was talking to my grandma about this.
All the factories have been working really hard, so
I was
double
talking
got
to
money.
my grandma, and she said that the rationing didn't stop for
years,
like a few more years after that. And then everyone was like, well, we won the war. And everyone's like, yeah, well, that cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting, because in my mind it was just like, you won the war, like literally the next day, everything's back, like
cocktails,
all the rations are off, everyone's just buying food as normal, it's like nothing ever happened, which is not the case.
Do you think though that probably the elite were eating as they wanted, and reveling in the newfound conquered lands and treasures and so on from the fallen and mighty Nazi Empire? Well,
speaking of elite, you've got a T-shirt on which you got from that gay poetry thing that you were at.
Don't use gay in a derogatory term. It's 2015. We're no longer 15-year-olds. And we, even Eminem doesn't do it anymore.
Oh, he does still do it.
Does he?
Yeah, I think so.
Does he still say hate fags? The answer's yes. Because at the time that wasn't a big deal to me, but nowadays I'm kind of like, hate fags. The answer's yes. Like, on the one hand, it's great because all he's doing is he's raising the heckles. That's what he does. has, you know, and that's really awesome. I admire anybody that can kind of get out there and say these types of things. But nowadays, you know, you can't really get away with, you know, like using fag or homo or gay in the sense that we used it when we were teenagers, which we used it every single day as teenagers. Yeah. Shut up, you fag. Yeah. We can't really get away with that anymore. It's not the same.
Well, yeah, but there's also, you know, shut up, slut. You're causing too much chaos. Now bend over and take it like a slut. Okay, ma?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's raping his own mother.
Yeah.
The horse snorting coke. And we put him on the Rolling Stone cover. So, look.
Yeah.
Can you get away with that stuff now in 2015? I don't know. But I enjoyed that.
I think it's okay to call your mum a slut.
And rape her.
And make jokes about raping her.
That's fine.
I'm all right with that.
But gay slurs,
But
no.
generalizations about sexuality is where I draw the line. All right? Derogatory generalizations about sexuality, that's where I draw the line. So this t-shirt, it's pink, and it says, it's got some scales, and on one side it says, stop the war.
It's a gay pink.
And on the other side it says, on the poor.
Yeah. War against poverty.
Yeah, and it's all about that war against poverty. And what about it?
Well, you're talking about the elite, you're talking about the war against poverty. Tell you who wants to take the war against poverty to the next level.
Who?
Andrew Little of the Labour Party.
Right. Oh, okay. We're going to get political here.
Normally I don't like to get political.
The guys from How Not to Be an Asshole, by the way, they got in some really great Labour politicians.
Oh, well,
just thought I'd slide that in there.
That's good. Well, I'm going to play a little clip in response to that, Harley.
Oh, good for you. And how was it? I hope it was fucking good because it's useless now, isn't it?
But, you know, basically Andrew Little is the now new leader of Labour. And the problem with Labour has been that they have not really had, like, John Key is a slimy, oilskin, snakeskin salesman kind of...
John Key, stop bullshitting me.
But he's very slick. He's very slick. He's so weasels out of every, like, difficult question, you know, like...
Well, that's how you get to the top. You slither your way there, don't you?
Exactly. On your belly in the grass. And that's what he's done. And, you know, he always seems to kind of, you know, there was that big, you know, ponytail pulling debacle. You know, that would have ended some people's career, but somehow he forges on, pulling on more ponytails, you know, at his behest. You know, poor waitresses are tugged on by the ponytails. That's a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah, well, you know...
Just a random stranger.
You know that he definitely pulls on his wife's ponytail when boning her and doggy.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, not at all.
I just wanted to insert that image into the listener's head.
John Key boning his wife.
And doggy and yanking furiously on her ponytail. Fucking veins popping out of his neck. Fucking yeah, come on.
While yanking furiously on something else.
No, he's inside her.
Well, okay. Might not be.
Well, that's what I was picturing. Doggy position. Stop ruining my painting that my mental painting that I'm painting for the viewers.
But
listeners.
Anyway, that is a weird thing to do. Like, you know, like if I pulled on anyone's hair, it would be kind of weird. Like anybody's hair. That would just be a bit weird. If I just saw your hair and gave it a little tug.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what are you doing?
I wouldn't do it.
And then secondly, it's a woman. You know, this is a little bit different, you know, because that makes it more inappropriate.
It's a young woman.
Because there's a sexual element now involved in it. And then he's just tugging on a tail going, oh, look at that ponytail. Like, this is a hell of a ponytail you got here, lassie. Like, that is really fucked up. But he just slithered on out of there.
And did our man...
there's no notes here. Andrew Little. Did
our man Andrew Little mention this in his historic speech?
He's above that.
Right.
He's above that. Because that's what we're seeing. He's like, I'm not interested in these petty bullshit debates. You know, I'm talking about the big issues. I'm talking about healthcare. I'm talking about poverty. I'm talking specifically about children growing up being deprived. I'm talking about the death of the Kiwi dream. Anyway, he had this big speech And I don't know why specifically he did it like yesterday or what was going on yesterday, but he was addressing everyone. He was talking about speech. He comes from a background of being a union leader, which means that he comes from the background of like being a person for the people, a person for the rights of the people, because, you know, that's what unions have got to look out for.
Well, it's also what the government's supposed to look out for.
Yes, of course.
This is a democracy. The government is supposed to be looking out for the people. That's meant to be how it works.
But anyway, one of his key focuses that he talked about Labour, and this is the problem, is Labour has never had anyone come up and do this really inspiring speech, and I hope that people listen to the speech. And I'm not even saying that you should vote for Labour, but I'm saying that you should vote for something. And what he's talking about is something. He's talking about a lot of things that I think should be very important to, well, anyone. I say New Zealanders, I mean anyone. You know, like... these are key issues that I am concerned about. But also, you know, stuff that as a sort of good human being, you know, like I'm not a kid anymore, you know, but I do want kids to have all the same, the best opportunities. I don't want to see, you know, us sort of, and this is what they talked about, you know, you talk about the elite, talking about the war on poverty. He's saying there's this growing gap between the rich and the poor. You know, and he backed it up with a whole bunch of stats. And he said that kind of undermines the Kiwi dream, that you can come from anywhere and sort of, you know, pull yourself up. Because if there's this gap, you can't do that anymore. And he's saying he wants to restore that idea. And, you know, he outlines a bunch of different ways. He also talks about climate change, which is very important. As he said, you know, I want to look towards the future, and there's no future, you know, without the planet, basically. And again, basically all of this stuff is things that National are not interested in, or have swept under the rug, or have made worse.
Yeah.
And so I encourage people, if you go to the Labour's Twitter, they've got links to his speech, and it's a very moving speech. And, you know, whether or not they sort of achieve that, those principles and goals are very good.
I'm still not going to vote Labour, though, because I'm going to vote Green.
Well, that's fine, Harley.
Because that's what I want.
Well,
I want a green government.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Maybe you should just listen to his speech. You know?
I will.
He does mention some you know, important things there with regards to the environment. But anyway, so I hope that it inspires people to sort of get more inspired by Labour, because I think that a lot of people who didn't vote or voted for someone else, or, you know, don't know what Labour's on about, needed a speech like this well before the last election. That never happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, check that out. Yeah. Well, what else?
Well, I just wanted to say here, I heard an alarming statistic recently that, well, basically I found this out when I hired my car to drive around Canterbury. 24 people a year crash into trains in New Zealand. 24 people a year. That's 2 a month. Crash into trains in New Zealand. Do you have any idea how fucking retarded you have to be to crash into a train? These things are, they're massive.
They're loud.
They weigh, you know, like hundreds of tons, you know, and they're so loud, and they're so big that they make the ground vibrate. You know, like...
They're also quite slow.
They're quite slow, and they're not on the same road as you, for the most part. Like, every now and then there's an intersection, usually with lights and bells and arms that come down and stop you from crashing into the train.
Plus, the train itself also lets out a honk.
A honk when it comes up to the intersection.
So as a warning.
Like... This is a classic example of that 70% of the population are idiots, because I guarantee that in all 24 cases, it wasn't the train driver at fault. It was the car driver, because the train driver can't do anything. We can't swerve, you know, like, you know, it's definitely the car driver at fault here. And I just find that disturbing that these people walk among us, you know? Yeah. Like, there's definitely
Well, they don't walk among us anymore.
No, they don't.
They're dead.
Yeah, well, you know, the old Darwin Award, I guess, you know. But not all of those were fatal crashes necessarily. But yeah, I mean, like, doesn't that just boggle the mind that people are so fucking stupid?
Yeah.
I just thought that was interesting. Now I found a review of I Survived the Zombie Holocaust.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Now it's in Polish. It's a Polish review of I Survived the Zombie Holocaust.
You've really been hunting.
Now-
We've run out of reviews in our native tongue, so we've started translating reviews
from Polish
using Google.
Yeah, no. I didn't use Google. That's the thing. As it happens, I'm fluent in Polish.
You're fluent in Poland.
So I actually translated this myself for you. So here we go. This is the latest review from Poland about I Survived the Zombie Holocaust.
Okay.
Translated by me. Situational comedy, meta-humor, and fun tons of blood-next victims themselves do not make I Survived a Zombie Holocaust film particularly successful. It will be noticed that this is the first full length in his career, Guy Pigden. The young director lacked the courage to rise above the level of your project, unsophisticated jokes about gays or women drivers. Lacked a budget which could pull the eye-catching brilliance Gordy whole. Pigden passed the exam, rookie at the 3, with a big plus. His first fruits more than say What We Do in the Shadows recalls this year's Deathgasm. So that's good. That's a new review. That was 6 out of 10.
That was 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, that one.
Seemed to... Deathgasm haunts me everywhere I go.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be saying that I Survived a Zombie Holocaust is more like Deathgasm than What We Do in the Shadows was. But why are we being held up to Deathgasm? Why is What We Do in the Shadows being held up to Deathgasm?
And also, why I don't really make any gay jokes.
Yeah.
No, well, look, I'm saying someone is gay. Is that a gay joke?
Yes, because people always laugh at it. There's like 2 gay jokes.
Okay, but it's not like a negative thing.
No, I mean it just is saying that that a character is gay.
Is gay, yeah. That's not in any way negative. I just feel that's a bit harsh from this Polish guy.
Yeah,
to be bringing the gay joke, and also female drivers. Come on, man. We all know they're bad.
That's comedic gold.
Well, that's just real life. It's not, I mean, I'm just being honest here.
Guy Pigden, sexist homophobe.
Well, that's what he seems to be saying.
I mean, I feel bad for using the word retarded when talking about people crashing into trains. That's how PC I've become.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to use the R word.
You're not supposed to use any words.
Yeah.
I thought of a joke the other day, right?
Yeah.
A PC world gone mad, right? And it's a picture of a PC with arms and legs going crazy in a PC world store chasing like picketers who are protesting something.
Is PC World a shop?
Yeah, it's
right.
a shop.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
All right, well, draw it up. Sketch it up, mate. You're good at drawing.
No, but it's too much work.
Too much work to do a drawing?
I just said it on the podcast.
All right.
Well, look, I've got a couple of subjects here.
Okay.
One,
standing by.
I went to the pool the other day.
Yeah. And how did that go down?
Not great.
No?
No, not really very good. Number 1, okay, the pool was quite a depressing place.
Yeah. Because everybody's chiseled as fuck and you're just waddling around?
No, far from it. Number 1, I remember going to the pool, Moana Pool in Dunedin, which has a hydro slide, which means that there's a big child or kid quota there, which means you sort of...
Something that Guy looks for.
Exactly. I look for kids and children in the pool. But
pedophile, homophobe, sexist. Good episode, Guy. You're really painting yourself in a good light.
No, just hear me out. But so I remember going to the pool as a kid. It was full of fun and frivolity. These young people everywhere. We're all having laughs and splashing each other in the face. Do not read anything into that. We're splashing each other in the face
continue,
with water.
Yeah. I didn't say anything.
Good.
What are you thinking about?
I'm just thinking about the water splashing in this kid's face.
All right, okay, cool. All right, carry on.
Covering his face with water.
All right, got it.
So anyway, so that's what I remember about going to the pool. And it was like, laughs, dive bombs, whatever, okay? Now I go to the pool, one, I'm old and fat. And I'm not loving the way I'm looking. When I see my reflection, I'm not loving it. But what I'm loving even less than my reflection is the reflection of the middle-aged men in the changing room.
Yeah.
Which I saw at least 10 penises.
Yeah.
Trying not to look at penises, I saw 10 penises.
Now, I've got a serious question.
That's too many penises.
That's too many penises for a visit to the pool.
They're way too many.
Now, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Now, of those 10 penises, and that's actually quite a good sort of statistical number to work with, of those 10 penises, do you feel like you were sort of above average or below?
I felt that I was probably sitting about the middle.
About the middle, yeah.
I mean, there was small ones.
Because that's the thing about being a man. Is
there was
you don't see that many
ones.
Penises except for in pornos, where obviously they're gargantuan, grotesque, completely
monstrosities,
completely impractical,
unrealistic.
Yeah, completely impractical. So, the thing is, you don't see many other penises sort of in real life with your own eyes. Yeah. So it's difficult to judge, Is my one weird? Is it big? Is it small? It's hard to say.
To be honest, I didn't really analyze it too much because you can't really tell anything. I mean, look, if it's one thing we both know, Harley, you can't tell anything from a flaccid penis.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah, for this to work, you were going to have to arouse every man in the room. I was going to
have to jerk off every guy and see his penis erect.
Yeah, and then do a comparison.
Make it cool.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that for many reasons.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to do that.
Yeah.
Just to go through with your... just to
figure out where you were on the spectrum.
Yeah, so... But it was just really disgusting. Because... And also, they like, in the changing room, right? So they got your changing rooms where you get changed. And then, for some reason, there was this huge, kind of full-length mirror running the length of it. So, if you sort of looked...
No matter where you look,
there was a dick.
Yeah.
If you looked to your
dick
right,
vision.
there was a guy. There was his cock out. If you looked away towards the mirror, you see 3 cocks.
Yeah.
In the mirror.
Best case scenario, you see a butt. Yeah. A hairy man butt.
Yeah. It was really, and I know, and it's get over it, guy.
It's just the human anatomy.
But no. I do not sign up for this. And that's the thing is, it's for some reason, unfortunately, it's okay in a male changing room to everyone to walk around with their knobs out.
To be fair, I think that's normal in the female changing room as well, because Angie told me about how she saw some big woolly mammoths gallivanting around the female changing room one time.
And it's all just a bit much for me, I don't, the only time I'm happy to see a penis is in a porno. It has its place there.
It does. Hey, the penis is here.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, but that time is not when I'm trying to get changed or have a shower or bend over
or
to
rub one out.
Pick up the soap. I don't need to see that. And so that cast a negative thing on the whole thing. And then it was just kind of sad, in the pool, it was all these middle-aged people and me. And honestly, there was 2 young people in the whole pool. And it was just
But you probably just going to the wrong type of pool, though, because Moana Pool is a pool aimed at youths, I guess. That's why it's got the hydro slide.
Kiddies.
Whereas you, maybe you went to some boring lap pool or something, where old people do laps.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it had all the facilities. It had a nice sauna. It had this hot bit. But it was just, I don't know, it just felt to me, swimming, although it is absolutely good exercise, feels like exercise for people that pretend to exercise by going to the pool and kind of flopping around in the pool, or even swimming heaps of laps.
And then sitting there and pissing.
But getting zero tone and getting zero anything from the pool because no one is in good shape from going to the pool. And so I was just kind of well, I've just seen a bunch of dicks today that I didn't need in my mental periphery. and now I'm going home.
I'd just like to, continue the conversation about dicks.
Sure.
I actually saw a dick in the changing room at my gym not that long ago.
Well, that's just uncalled for.
It was uncalled for, but I mean, to be fair, the guy was trying to hide from me. But
Oh, that's okay.
I
then.
was,
But you were scoping him out.
I was scoping him out.
You were. To be fair, you had parted his towel.
Yeah, and was having
And
a.
we're looking
I was having a
directly
look.
at it.
It was an inspection of sorts, No, but anyway, I walked out of there feeling like $1 million because this guy, he had the tiniest little wee penis. Like it barely emerged from his giant pubes.
Yeah.
And, it's not like I think I'm like the big man on campus, but
Sure.
it made me feel good to know that there are other ones out there smaller,
Yeah.
it was good.
But, there's the thing, though. Cold.
He was a lawyer.
He's feeling cold.
Yeah, but I mean, even at its coldest, I remember one time
but look at your coldest. We're talking a very... This gets pretty small, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember one time I tried cocaine. I had used some cocaine, and there's this
Big
thing
admissions on the Guy and Harley podcast today.
called cocaine dick, which is where your dick basically shrivels up into nothing as a result of using cocaine.
Right.
And I remember I went to the toilet, and I was like, what the fuck? Because it was gone, man. Like, it was gone.
There's nowhere to be seen.
His one was smaller than that.
Right.
It was really small.
Yeah.
So the moral here is that lawyers have small dicks.
Right. Well, look, how did you know about cocaine dick, though?
How did
someone tell?
I think I'd heard something
so
about
you
it, or
didn't,
read
walk
something
out
about
and
it.
go, hey guys, my penis is looking really small.
And everyone was
is
like,
this normal?
And everyone was like, don't worry, bro.
Cocaine dick.
We've all got small ones. No, I think I'd read some article about it or something.
Right.
I'd read something about it, so I wasn't too worried. I was just like, that's a strange anomaly.
Well, look, leading into penises and things to do with the penis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is big news right here.
Oh, okay.
Disney is banning the Slave Leia outfit. So they're not.
Why?
Gonna,
Because it's too sexually.
Yep. So they're not gonna
charged.
they're not gonna sell the Slave Leia bikini. They're not gonna have images of Slave Leia.
Because she's a slave.
Well, no, because she's in a bikini.
Because she's a slave in a bikini.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because at no point is it implied that Jabba rapes her.
Well, I don't know. You see that tongue wobbling around pretty close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's definitely some fan fiction out there.
Look, he definitely, at the least, I mean, Jabba
Licked her.
probably doesn't have a penis, but he definitely gave her cunnilingus. We can all agree on that, can't we?
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
Hutlingus. Huttylingus.
Huttylingus.
Yeah. Which is what they practice.
Yeah, so, and there's the thing, I mean, look, it's never said, but it's definitely, Han Solo had to sit Princess Leia down after that and go, look, when I was frozen in carbonite and you were Slave Leia and he had you chained to him 24 hours a day, he did some shit to you, right? What did he do? And, she probably told him some scary stuff. I mean, but by the by, Disney can't be thinking too deeply into that.
Maybe it's not hut nature. Human nature, not hut nature.
What they should be thinking about is that Slave Leia is iconic. And, and the thing is, it's sex appeal. It's for all the teenage boys out there that were like, man, I love Princess Leia. I'd love to see her in something skimpy. Oh, hello. And so when, Disney cancelled the Slave Leia outfit, it was like millions of souls cried out and were silenced.
Yeah, there was a great disturbance in the Force that day.
Yeah. So, very sad news. What do you think about this? Should Disney be doing this? Erasing the history of Slave Leia?
They shouldn't be. It's a great disturbance in the Force skin. Is what it is.
See what you did there.
It's what it is, yeah.
It was good.
Thank you. It just came to me. It's the improvisation I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. So no. I mean, It is a bit ridiculous, but you do understand that they are kind of essentially a kids' company, a big evil empire aimed at kids.
Yeah, but kids got to whack off.
Yeah, but like, this is Disney, this is Mickey Mouse, this is that type of stuff, like, I guess they can't be associated with BDSM and fucking sex slaves,
Well, yeah, but
particularly in this day and age, there's more sex slavery in the world than there's ever been before, like, we're actually living in the dark ages, we don't quite realize it, but we are, like, there's more sexual slavery going on in the world right now than ever before, and here's Disney jumping up there with a sex slave outfit, for pop culture. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see where they're coming from. And it'll only really disappoint a whole bunch of dirty old pervs like you. Because, the other thing is, you got to remember, you're not going to stop seeing Slave Leia at Halloween parties because someone will jump in and start doing the knockoff Slave Leia outfit.
But what's next? Are they going to digitally put some clothes on her in 10 years time?
Well, in the interests of religious sensitivity, they're probably going to put a digital burqa on her at some point in the future. So yeah. I mean, but I do see where they're coming from. I do.
Look, all I'm saying is guys,
Get the original on VHS.
Exactly.
They can't touch it.
And
they can't touch your copy. You can whack away as much as you want.
And girls,
please keep wearing the
do your guy a favor and get that, because now it's become even more special.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Well, you're on Disney's side there.
Well, I'm just seeing. I mean, I do think the world's gone sort of a bit PC mad, but I do understand, where they're coming from. They can't really be seen to be endorsing sexual slavery, even in a fantasy setting.
Sad. It's really sad for me. I'm really upset about this whole thing, and I'm seriously considering writing a strongly worded letter
to Disney. Dear Disney.
I've been jerking off to Slave Leia for a good 23 years.
You started jerking off about Leia when you were like 9?
No, look, I'm maybe exaggerating.
Yeah, 23 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
I had my first wank when I was 13.
Guaranteed 20 years. Well, I beat you to it there, buddy.
Wow. Nice. Proud of you, kid.
Bro, high five.
Well, maybe no high five, eh? But yeah, all right, sweet, cool. All right, well, look, what do you got out? What else you got?
Okay, well, I'm going to just throw this one out quickly to you. Sienna Miller. Do you know who that is?
A hot girl with brown hair.
She's got blonde hair, but close enough.
All right.
She's always had blonde hair, but close enough.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of somebody different.
At some point,
maybe I'm thinking of Selena Gomez.
Going out with Jude Law, and she's been in a bunch of films. I couldn't tell you which films because...
Judge Jude Law.
She hasn't been in
you see.
anything amazing there. Now, for the record, I'm just going to pause to say that Harley Neville just made a Judge Judy reference on this podcast.
No, but it
made a Judge Judy reference.
But it works because it's Jude Law, and she's a judge of law. It's genius if you think about it.
Yeah. No? Well, look, Judge Judy's still on, I think.
Is it? All right.
But anyway, she said that all actresses should boycott productions because there's a bit of a scandal because Jennifer Lawrence got paid less than, Christian Bale and Bradley Cooper in American Hustle. And she was like, I feel embarrassed. I should have held out for more or something. And Sienna Miller now comes and says, we should boycott productions where male actors are paid more than female actors. What are your thoughts, Harley Neville?
Oh, it's a load of shit. It's not about gender at all.
Correct.
It's about your performance and your clout in the box office. And it's up to you when you're negotiating. Fuck it. I'm sure it's not about gender. It's about the fact that Christian Bale's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
How Jennifer Lawrence, this little pissant. She'll be gone soon, man. Honestly, she's so overhyped. I'm not even. I really don't think she's particularly great.
Well, she's good in the Silver Linings Playbook.
I didn't watch that one.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm just really, really still angry about the Hunger Games,
right?
Which obviously
has made her a lot of money.
Well, it made her a lot of money and really ruined the books. Like, it ruined the books so much that I couldn't read the second book because the movie ruined it for me. It just destroyed the universe. Jennifer Lawrence, destroyer of universes. That's what we should call her.
Well, I don't want to call her that because I'd probably like to work with her at some point.
Right. Well, no, fuck her. And so, no, I think that, it's up to you, your agent.
Did you ever check out
and your abilities?
Her nude pictures.
Of course I checked out her nude pictures. Well, what kind of question is that? The Fappening. The Fappening. I recall the Fappening. There was Coney 2012. There was Cecil the Lion. There was Black Lives Matter, and there was the Fappening. Right. These are big internet moments.
these are special moments in your life.
Special moments. Yeah. So of course, I utilized those.
Well, look, did you?
I did.
Did you truly utilize them?
It was a wee while ago, so I can't remember every wank I've ever had, but I'm pretty sure I utilized those. I'm pretty sure I made an effort. I went out of my way.
You made a concerted effort to have what's known as a celebrity wank.
Yeah, which is a rarity for me because, I'll be honest, when it comes to wanking, right, I can't jerk off about Jennifer Lopez because there needs to be some sort of element of reality to it. I need to have, I can't jerk off about Jennifer Lopez because when am I ever going to meet Jennifer Lopez and when's she going to want to sleep with me? Maybe if I was at the Oscars, maybe say I was nominated for an Oscar and she was there for some reason, maybe then I could rub one out about Jennifer Lopez. But you just can't do it.
Until that time, your wanks have to be grounded in reality.
Exactly.
Your wanks have to have some element of truth to them.
They do.
It's like filmmaking.
Exactly. No, seriously though, you've got to have a plausible sort of storyline to get into this situation. You've got to have a narrative, a beginning, middle, and end. And so yeah, I don't generally jerk off about celebrities. It's just not really a thing. But I made an exception given the quality of the material.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, anyway, look, all I was going to say is, I agree with you. It's not about who is male or female. It's who gets paid more on account of their box office bankability and their popularity, whether they're hot or not. And just to counter Jennifer Lawrence's little I should have been paid the same as these people, was Liam Hemsworth paid the same as you in the Hunger Games? I fucking doubt it. I fucking doubt it big time. I think he got paid maybe about, I don't know, 15-20% of what you got paid. So it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. You kind of just get paid according to, how you're perceived at that time. And, at the time of American Hustle, they felt that these actors were worth more than her. At the time of the Hunger Games, she is worth way more than all these other actors. Should now in the next Hunger Games, you go, hey, no, Liam Hemsworth should be paid equal to me because I am not a hypocrite. She ain't doing that.
No. But also, it's just kind of, Christian Bale is a fucking institution, man. Like, the guy's been around forever, and he's done only amazing work, really.
Yep.
He's an exceptional actor. He's done all sorts of great stuff. Only thing I didn't like was his Batman voice. But I didn't like that. But other than that, he's good. And it's like, you can't compare this little upstart from a fucking popular but shit movie to Christian Bale.
That's true.
So get off your fucking high horse.
Well, yeah, and
take that several $1 million that you got paid.
Yeah, and I'm sure she did. But yeah, so I think it's a bit silly, and I also think it's a bit silly for the Sienna Miller to say actresses boycott productions. If you're a struggling actress, no one can afford to boycott anything. If you're a rich, successful actress who kind of gets to pick and choose roles, gets offered lots of cool things, is very incredibly beautiful, and has had many well-paying gigs in the past, and is probably married to someone rich, it's very easy to say that. But in the, the cold, harsh light of day, when you're a jobbing actor, you gotta fucking get whatever you can. It doesn't matter if the person opposite you is getting paid, 10 times more. You're just hustling for a gig. All right.
Well, I did have one last thing.
Go.
I did want... speaking of Christian Bale, I've got an audition.
Oh, good for you. And how was it? I hope it was fucking good because it's useless now, isn't it? Fuck's sake, man, you're amateur. But no! Don't shut me up! This is the second time that he doesn't give a fuck! For fuck's sake. Now, let's not take a fucking minute. Let's go again! And let's not have you fucking walking in! You're unbelievable, man. You're unfucking believable.
And I don't normally do this, but in this particular case, I was going to read out what I've got to do or wrap it out because it's quite difficult. And I deliberately left it to the end of the podcast in order to make sure that nobody was listening. So I've got this audition coming up. It's a really cool role, really great opportunity, but it's actually very difficult. And I've got to do an A to Z rap. So I wanted to bust out that rap for you.
So highly illegal, highly breaking protocol here.
Should I not do it?
Highly
well, no. I'm not saying what it's for or anything like that.
Oh, no, go for it.
Do you think I should?
Yeah, why not?
You think I should?
Look, man, this is the podcast. This is where we get real. You just told me that you started masturbating at 12. You just
13.
told me... 13. You just started... you masturbated to Jennifer Lawrence. You've told me a lot about your masturbating today.
Okay, here we go.
Cocaine dick. I've learned a lot about your penis.
That's the name of the episode, Harley's penis.
It'd be cocaine dick, wouldn't it?
All right, okay. Okay, so here's this rap that I need to learn. Now, I've got most of it down, but I'm reading this. Here we go. Animals in Africa attacking angry alligators, beat boxes big and up, bloody boxes battling, cool collector cricketers cracking into concrete, dangerous daredevils dropping dirty danger men, eccentric explorers eating everything that's edible, fantastic foursome fighting for our freedom, Galifianakis getting good and giggly on Gogglebox, high hip hoppers hitting huge hip hop harmonies, idiotic imbeciles imitating idiots, jaded juveniles jumping jagged jackaroos, kinky kimmy kicking kung fu, karate kickbacks, loose lip ladies liking lipstick in their lingerie, myth making maniacs monitoring minefields, my man Macklemore making music masterfully, NCIS, CSI and the other ones, off a man, often on an odd man and off again. Pushy pregnant prisoners pashing perky pen pals, plush puppy playing with peanuts in a puppy park, queer queens quirking quietly in the Queen's Guard, really racy races revving round and round the racetrack, suspect solicitors subpoenaing sketchy simpletons, total techie traders turning trash into trinkets, Underwood undermining Uncle Sam's underlings, vampires vamping various veins that are varicose, Walter White weighing wicked white woolly wonderland, extra time, extra mile, extra scenes in X-Files. Yeah, you can get it when you want it, where you want it. Zombies.
Quite a mouthful.
Quite a mouthful.
Now, you've got to read that not from script.
Yeah, so I've got to know all of that off by heart. I've got to, but not just that, I've got to perform it as a rap, as a performance, you know?
You
standing in a room, just me, a camera, and the casting dude. It's quite a tough one.
I think I reckon that's one of those ones where you could go, you know what? Can I just have this up with me to look at while we do it? I feel like that's one of those ones.
Well, I'll definitely take it with me. I think what I'll do, though, is I'll slow it down, you know, because, you know, I don't need to do it. It's supposed to be done very quickly, at about that pace that I read it. But I actually think that if I slow it down a bit and it's a bit long, that's okay, because, you know, we can work on that later. I think they want to see that I can rap and that I can remember it all. And, you know, what I was doing then wasn't really rapping. It was just getting through it as quickly as I could.
That's the type of role that you might lose your voice on when you're doing it on the day.
Yep.
That's what I'd be worried about. But
fuck it. I'll be getting paid either way, so
I guess it doesn't really matter though, because at the end of the day you could just kind of
ADR it.
Mouth it and then ADR it.
Yep.
So, you know, You're doing a funny stand. It's almost like you're desperately needing to go to the toilet.
Yeah, I'm busting for a piss, and this podcast is drawing to an end.
So it's time for us to say goodbye.
So thank you for listening. Please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Please go and watch I Survived the Zombie Holocaust. You can also find that on iTunes and various other places.
Share this on Twitter and Facebook. Get the word out there so we get more than 17 listeners next time.
Thank you. We love you. See you next time.
See you later.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.